Hey, I'm Lou, and you're watching Live Free and DIY. In my last project video, I showed you how I flattened this board with a homemade router planer. And I learned a few things about it. As you can see, it is pretty flat, but you can also see there are little router lines. And these will sand off. I didn't want to sand them off until I made this video. Basically what I think was happening was that either there was just a little bit of give in the jig that I made up, and so it pushed down in some spots, or because the router was actually pretty far away from the board, I had to not secure the bit on the router very well, and it may have made it wobble a little bit, and I'll show you what I mean. So this is the router. You can see this bit here, it actually goes in further in the chuck, but I was too far away from the wood when it was all the way in, so I actually pulled it out. I'm going to actually buy a bit that's longer. I'll probably buy a 2-inch bit. This is just a 3/4 inch bit. So getting a 2-inch bit will help. And actually, this was not how I intended to use that contraption. Originally, and it's not in my video, I used the plunge attachment for the router, which is this. And as you can see, I made an HDPE base for it. So with the router all the way in, it actually only plunges this much. So it was only being allowed to come out at even less than 3/4 of an inch with the bit in there, but only just 3/4 of an inch out here. Another thing I could have done is not use as tall of a piece of angle steel. It was 2 1/4 inches tall. If I would have done 2 inches, I just didn't have that option at Lowe's. And so I also ran into another problem. I didn't have it with this small board because I was being a little bit more careful. But when I got onto the large board, I started getting a little bit too aggressive, and I was taking more than a 1/16 of an inch off at a time. And so what ended up happening was this bit actually started getting caught and pulling itself out even more from the router. And so I ended up with a board that was a lot thinner than I wanted to, because it kept on going deeper and deeper, and I have to keep on going back and routing even more and more of it away. And so I'll show you that board. It's not flattened on the other side. I haven't done the other side yet. But I don't know if you can see how thin it is there compared to how thick it is there. And this board originally was 2 inches thick. Right now, the thickest part is just over 1 inch, and the thinnest part is about 3/4 of an inch, which means if I route this properly, the thickest I can get this board is 3/4 of an inch. It's still going to be usable for the project I want to use it on. It's only going to be the top shelf, and actually, you know, the thinner the lighter it's going to be. So it'll work out, but I probably would have been happier if I could have kept it closer to 2 inches or 1.5 inches once everything was routed down. Either way, I'm really happy with the results, and I'm looking forward to using it in the future. There was one other thing I didn't show in the video, but I actually used some paste wax on the rails to help make them glide a little bit smoother. So you might want to do that if you decide to build something like this. So last night, Izzy Swan put out a video of a Squatty Potty that he made, and I was like, oh man, I was planning on making one. His version is a lot different than the one I'm planning on making, and I'm still gonna plan on making one sometime down the road. I'm not exactly sure when. I've still got a bunch of other projects that are higher priority, but I was interested to see that he actually made one. I've never actually seen anyone else make a Squatty Potty, and I'm really interested in trying to make one. If you don't subscribe to her, you should check out Laura Komp's YouTube channel. She put out a vlog about being uninspired, and at the end of the vlog she got a truckload of packages that were given to her from Rockler, and it made me drool, especially the lathe that they gave her. Now, I know I don't have close to 20,000 subscribers. I'm not even at 100 yet, but Rockler, if you're watching this, I would take one of those lathes in a heartbeat. But seriously, it was really awesome that she got that stuff, and I know she was really excited. And again, if you're not, you should go check out her channel. She has a lot of really cool stuff, and her videos are really inspiring. I'm really excited. 12 Monkeys is back on. If you don't know about 12 Monkeys, it's a TV show that's on Sci-Fi. Obviously, it's based off of the movie, although it's a little bit different, and I really enjoyed last season, and I'm really looking forward to the rest of this season. And of course, Game of Thrones started last Sunday, which my wife and I are super pumped about, and we watched the first episode on Sunday night, and we're just excited to get through the rest of it. We both read all of the books, and right now we are at the point where we're like everybody else. We have no idea what's going to happen next because this is all basically new material for everybody. Other than that, not much has been going on around here. I'm still planning on finishing the clothes rack this weekend. Hopefully everything will be done and planed and up, and I'll have the video finished. Otherwise, I'm not really sure when that'll be done. I'm really trying to get it done for this weekend though. So with that, please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button below, and check me out on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter, and check me out on my website. If you have any questions, leave a comment below and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. I hope you all have a great weekend, and I will see you next week. Bye. And of course, we're really hoping that Jon Snow is alive, or will be alive. Spoiler alert.